What's up, fight fans? It's 3K the Boss, aka Mr. Two Hands Up. You know what it is, man. Okay, man. So apparently, the Wilder vs. Ortiz fight is a done deal and is eyed for September. Deontay Wilder prides himself on being a man of his word. The unbeaten heavyweight titleist meant it when he said boxing fans shouldn't expect an undisputed championship showdown with Anthony Joshua until at least 2020. Happening well before this, a rematch with Cuban southpaw Louis Old-tiz. Wilder has confirmed the rumors himself through a verified social media account Tuesday evening. Wilder vs. Ortiz 2, fire, declaring the reigning WBC titleist just 2 weeks removed from a highlight reel first-round knockout with Dominic Breazeale. To all my friends, I want to announce that Louis Old-tiz and I have signed a rematch with the date and the site announced shortly. All my controversial fights must get dealt with ASAP. The announced bout is a rematch to their slugfest last March. Wilder overcame rocky moments midway through their Showtime televised contest to drop and eventually stop Ortiz in the 10th round of their Fight of the Year contender. Rumors swirled as a sequel shortly after handlers of Ortiz, 31-1-0, 2 no contests and 26 KOs, turned down a $7 million package on June 1st class versus Anthony Joshua in New York City's Madison Square Garden. The heavyweight contender was offered a DAZN headlining fight after Jarrell Miller was removed from the bill after having failed multiple drug tests in last March. The package offered to Ortiz instead exposed two matters: dysfunction among his team, as well as the glimpse into Wilder's reason for turning down his own offer to join the DAZN family, a nine-figure deal that would have guaranteed him 2 fights with Joshua. The 33-year-old from Alabama instead chose to stay loyal to Premier Boxing Championship brand, which includes his long-standing relationship with Showtime. It resulted in his grudge match versus Breazeale airing on premium cable, Giant's flagship network, as opposed to pay-per-view. As much likely cannot be said of the rematch, as it will result in far too expensive of a price tag for Showtime or Fox Sport to carry without going a la carte. Wilder Ortiz, I aired live on Showtime, peaking 1.2 million viewers. Wilder Breazeale peaked at 990K earlier this month. Whatever is thought of the rematch, what remains clear is Wilder's claims of all controversial fights being dealt with ASAP. There's nothing disputed about the first fight other than finally getting to that point. It was originally slated to take place in November of 2017, only for Ortiz to test positive for PEDs, attributed to high blood pressure medication. His crime was not disclosing the medication when filling out the forms of the voluntary anti-doping agency random drug testing, for which he received temporary suspension. Once the matter was cleared up, Ortiz was permitted to return to the ring in December 2017 and score a second-round knockout of Daniel March. By that point, Wilder had already fought on the November date, tearing through Bermane Stiverne in the opening round of the rematch to their January 15th fight, in which Wilder won the first title he now defended 9 times. Number 10 will come in a second fight with Ortiz, with no clear indication as to when one will come in a first fight with Joshua. The unbeaten unified titleist from England has gone public in wanting to speak directly with Wilder shortly after this weekend's fight with Reeves, which marks his stateside debut. Whether Wilder decided to make his announcement 4 days prior to the fight was simply to upstage the event or just get on with his own career, it is open for interpretation. Whatever the case, Joshua can at least focus on nothing else but Andy Ruiz. What he does in his career comes June 2nd remains anybody's guess, other than knowing it won't involve an undisputed heavyweight championship showdown with Deontay Wilder. Now that is very fucking unfortunate. This is the Two Hands Up show. Welcome. Let's fucking go. Okay, now this is starting to become an extremely daunting task for Anthony Joshua, and I say that by saying this. Deontay Wilder does not want to fight him, and I've expressed this on numerous occasions. I said this fight would not happen until Deontay Wilder is 39 years old, 40 years old, and ready to go out of the door. And I wouldn't slate 2020 for anything spectacular as well, considering the fact that this man has been offered $120 million and he could have made double what he got paid for fighting Breazeale. And you turn that down to take $10 million, and you're going to fight in Louis Old-tiz. And I put the emphasis on the old, not the Old-tiz, because the individual is very old. And considering that, he had a finicky drug testing, considering the high blood pressure medication. You should be ashamed of yourself for even going in the ring with this individual again. You could tell he was old. He got gas in the later rounds, and he couldn't dig deep due to the age of himself. Now, considering that the figurehead of the zone, being John Skipper, has eloquently made him an offer that he couldn't refuse, and he refused it, speaking of loyalty, but likes to talk with us about talks of generational wealth and everything. It kind of boggles my mind. Like, I would like to really and genuinely know what Anthony Joshua's fans and Anthony Joshua haters alike would truly think about Anthony Joshua going back and fighting one of these individuals, recycling matches, and I would truly like to know in the hearts of the fans if it'll be okay. And I'm sure we already know the answer to that. Of course it wouldn't be. So for Deontay, it's cool. But when it comes to Mr. Wilder, it's not okay to raise the bar. It's not okay to go for broke. It is okay to take these backdoor contracts to be manhandled by the PBC and to take mediocre fights and drag us through this, considering this will be his 10th title defense and it will be against Louis Old-tiz. Now, the world doesn't want to see that, and I'm sure that will be combated with the fact that, oh, who says the world doesn't want to see it? It's Anthony Joshua fans don't want to see it. But according to you guys, you want the undisputed fight, right? So how can this be acceptable? It is completely unacceptable and disingenuous for me, for anyone or any fan or even casuals alike, to hear all of the things that Deontay Wilder says out of his mouth, but he doesn't even live up to the hype. Now, he's talking about people got to get it, people get hurt and they've risked their lives doing pertaining to the sport that he is in. Excuse me. And the thing about that is, okay, well, you're risking your life. Why are you going to risk your life a second time and risk losing your belt to a dangerous, older opponent for pennies on the dollar? Now, there is an old saying that a very wise and business-savvy individual said, sitting from his throne as he let his son be the giant that is the force that is in front of the zone, being Barry Hearn. He said, would you rather have 100% of nothing or 10% of something? Because it seems to me that Deontay Wilder is going for that 100% of nothing, going back into this bout. Now, I'm sure that deal probably netted him $30 million, so he's getting $10 million per fight, I'm sure, for all three of those fights, because I'm 100% sure he's going to fight Kalinowski next. It's kind of funny that everybody already had this information, and the British are already spewing that information back and letting us know that he signed up for this fight deal before facing Tyson Fury. So not only did he deceive his fans and sports fans alike by saying that, he was trying to make this Tyson Fury match, but you had already signed a deal to face Louis Old-tiz and Adam Kalinowski and Dominic Brazil before even inking the deal with Tom Fury, because you wouldn't go to the UK and fight him. And it has already been stated through IFL TV, through Eddie Hearn, that Deontay Wilder won't even go to England at no point to fight Anthony Joshua. So that just reversed that thought process. That lets you know that the tactics they used in the States against Tyson Fury. Now, since when does a man holding all of this metal and 2 heavyweights, as a matter of fact, 3 heavyweights, because you can throw Dillian White into that mix, have to give up so much for a guy that only holds 1 belt that is tarnished by the way he moves? Because actions speak louder than words, and his actions show that he does not possess a championship pedigree, and the other 2 possess all of the fire and capabilities to be a champion. Now, since when do people lose belief in themselves and just cower to take less than go for more? This is the society we live in. And it's absolutely heartbreaking as a fan, heartbreaking as an analyst, heartbreaking as an individual who has followed and loved this sport ever since I was a little kid, when my grandfather was recording Muhammad Ali tapes in the basement, Pernell Whitaker tapes in the basement, Riddick Bowe tapes in the basement, Mike Tyson tapes in the basement to go through this because we are not getting what we deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a travesty. Since when has the real been disregarded and the fake has started to become exalted? This is a sickening cycle that we are going through this boxing game. That's why I always say that the boxing game is a Rubik's Cube that we are so eloquently trying to solve, because this is a sick cycle that does not seem to change. It is repetitive, and I'm getting sick of it. The difference between Floyd Mayweather didn't ruin this. The difference between Floyd Mayweather and this guy, Floyd Mayweather fought the best. Contrary to what you want to believe, his skill spoke for it, and you didn't know if anybody had a chance of beating him when you got in the ring. All you could do was hope. With Deontay Wilder, all you can do is hope he's going to lose. This is an absolute disgrace. That's all I got for you, man. This is the motherfucking Two Hands Up show. And I'm your motherfucking fearless leader, 3K the boss, aka Mr. Two Hands Up. You know what it is. And as we always say before we close this joint out, it costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind. Wilder Ortiz 2.